Good morning. It's Tuesday, October 7th. It's just after 10 a.m. here, Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everyone, wherever you're coming from, in whatever time zone or space-time coordinate you find this recording. We are looking at A Course in Miracles daily lessons, and we're looking at them this morning. I'm going to read both from the Blue Book as well as from Training Wheels, in which I kind of took the daily lessons and worded them into something that made more sense to me at the time. So as usual, we'll just start by just settling in, and you can keep your camera on or off as you wish, but I'm going to read through the first 50 lessons and then bring us to lesson 63 today. So it's amazing to me how sometimes at night, if I can't sleep, I will run through as many of the first 50 lessons as I can remember. And I find that they still resonate so deeply with me. Even though they are rudimentary, they're really not. So let's settle in. I'm going to turn my video off and I'll read the first 50 lessons. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reasons I think. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests. I do not know what anything is for. My attack thoughts are attacking my own invulnerability. Above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to see things differently. God is in everything I see. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. I am not a victim of the world I see. I have invented the world I see. There's another way of looking at the world. I could see peace instead of this. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. My holiness envelops everything I see. My holiness blesses the world. There's nothing my holiness cannot do. My holiness is my salvation. I am blessed as a son of God. God goes with me wherever I go. God is my strength. Vision is God's gift. God is my source. I cannot see apart from God. God is the light in which I see. God is the mind in which I think. God is the love in which I forgive. God is the strength in which I trust. There is nothing to fear. God's voice speaks to me all throughout the day. I am sustained by the love of my Creator. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. How holy are you who have the power to bring peace to every mind? How whole are you who have the power to bring peace to every mind? And how blessed are you who can learn to recognize the means for letting this be done through you. What purpose could you have that would bring you greater happiness? Those are from the lesson in the Blue Book. What greater purpose could you have than to learn this lesson? If you can think of one, by all means share it in the discussion. We are conduits of energy. To the degree that our minds are in perfect working order, energy flows so freely, so radiantly, that we are transparent. Yet for most of us, most of the time, this energy is blocked and the flow is limited. Thus our sight and our knowing are also limited. We are like a traveler in the woods who sees only separate trees above the ground. But below, in an interconnected world, things are thriving underfoot. Fungi extends for miles, sharing light and nutrients with every tree root. The tree roots entwine and support each other when the winds are high above. The consciousness of each tree knows its interdependent nature, but also acts for and with the whole forest, above and below. Forgiveness is a choice that unblocks the conduit. The act of forgiving itself activates a universal frequency. It's a code that opens doors we do not see. Each of us has access to the code. We are the code. There's no need to earn anything or to do anything to give it or receive it. Forgiveness is a choice to release another from your own projection of darkness and limitation and lack of freedom. It is therefore an act of forgiving oneself. Understand this. Forgiveness is forgiving yourself for not being aware of your own projections. Understand this. Forgiveness is forgiving yourself for not being aware of your own projections. When you truly forgive yourself, you access the universal frequency. You can feel it. Things open up. When you access the universal frequency, you become light. You shine light. You are the light. You unblock the light that flows naturally as your own divine inheritance. Sit today often. Close your eyes and repeat the lesson in your mind. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Feel the vibration of the words in your body as you say that to yourself. Does it feel good? Do you feel free? Or a bit less confined? As you sit, you'll notice that some of your thoughts will be peaceful and some of them will not. Just repeat the lesson to yourself. You don't have to do anything with this meditation. Just notice. Someone said the other day, we do not have an economic problem. We do not have an education problem. We do not have an environmental problem or a political problem. We have a consciousness problem. You are not being asked to solve the world's problems here. Just do your own work and let Source do its. Relax and trust. You have full access to the key code. I am the light of the world, not because I have done anything, but because I am Word, because I am what Source has created me as, which is its own light, its own extension. Get out of your own way and allow this recognition to arise in your mind and accept the goodness that you are. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. When I forgive myself, everything is forgiven. When I recognize my own divinity, I recognize the divinity of everything else. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. I forgive my lack of seeing. I forgive my not knowing. I forgive the cruelty of others. I forgive myself for not forgiving right now. I have the power to bring peace to my own mind. Through forgiveness, which is the recognition that I do nothing on my own. How blessed I am that I can learn to recognize that I can let go. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. What would you forgive in yourself? What would you forgive in yourself to be truly, absolutely free? Give yourself this forgiveness. And pass it on. You will free minds that don't even know they don't know. Today, take every moment that presents itself to you in which you feel confined, judged, not whole, worried, anxious, angry, and give yourself the freedom to forgive them, to let them go. They are not what you are. And then pass it on. Forgiveness is not allowing someone else to do a wrong and choosing to overlook it. Forgiveness is freedom itself. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. How does this lesson meet you today? When you're ready, gently, gently come back. No hurry whatsoever. If you want to share, we can share. If not, we can sit in silence together. Rana, thank you for being here. What you got?
Wow. As I'm finding, Tuesdays are at 10 o'clock are always very powerful. I'd like to share what came up, a little report. I forgive myself for not knowing the truth. I forgive myself for seeing others and judging them as different. I forgive myself for all the seeming mistakes Rana has made. I forgive myself for not seeing the divine in everything. I forgive myself for thinking I'm alone.
Mm.
So, what I experienced towards the end of the meditation was just this wide open feeling. And I would guess I would label it in the heart or solar plexus. And I felt a little burn. And then, of course, the mind was like, what's that? But I just left it there. But what I heard was, you can start with a clean slate now. It's always now. Let them off the hook. And then you mentioned freedom. Freedom is allowing everything and everyone to be as it is and know it's divine. Yesterday, we talked a lot about the word learning in that lesson. And it's really piquing my curiosity about this seeming journey from learning to understanding to knowing. And I don't think it's important for me to pinpoint where I am because I think it fluctuates depending on any given now moment. But the knowing, the certainty that I have experienced about certain truths, I got to use the word delicious because that's how it's feeling right now. I thank you, Amy, and thank you, everyone. I feel like I'm going to cry.
Oh,
Stop now.
thank you, Rana.
Love those hearts, Cindy.
It's funny because we were talking before we started here about how forgiveness has really changed. It's the word and the definition of the word has really changed and shifted for me through the years when I first started these lessons over 20 years ago. And I hadn't really thought about it as freedom, but that's exactly what it is. As A Course in Miracles is true. It is so true. She's down there for me. Sandra, the words and the language and the patriarchal, language is not the point. It is the lesson that is in the kernel. It's the gem in the kernel that is the truth. And that's the point. Nothing I see means anything. That is as true for me today as it was when I first read those words. Sandra.
Good morning. Thank you, Rana. Thank you, Amy. I agree. Each Tuesday morning is powerful. I don't ever want to miss this. What was I going to say?
It's true.
I had a realization today, and it's not just today, it's every day. It's like, it's always a work in progress. It's just as you said, over 20 years, and now it's different. It's evolving, but yet it's always been there as the same thing. I mean, it's a paradox, but I could read these lessons 3 days in a row, the same lesson, and get something different or deeper or touch me in a different way. And today, this lesson touched me in two ways. The first was the way you started off with the words from the Blue Book. How holy are you who have power? And I think that's why I like the word God. And I still use it a lot, even though I know it's much more than the God of my childhood. I like it because it has an aura of the sacred, the holy. I was rewatching The West Wing the other night because I couldn't stand TV today, and I was watching all those episodes, and there was this one episode where they're singing "Oh Holy Night" in the children's choir, and they're singing "Oh Holy Night," and it just lifted me right out of my skin and just thrilled me. And I think there's something about the sacred and the holy that comes through for me with the word God more than force, absolute, awareness, all those other words, which mean the same thing. And yet there is that aura of the sacredness of the mission. And that's what really came through for me as you spoke this morning. As you read those words, I have power to bring peace to every mind. What greater purpose? Excuse me. And then I had another realization. That's why I have a problem sometimes, not really a problem, not anymore, but the fact that this life that I am experiencing through this particular form, it is for a purpose. It matters. It matters. And it's not, and that's why I have a problem with playing cops and robbers, because I think of the Keystone Cops and I think of people running around doing something that's meaningless and it doesn't matter, but it does matter. And the Course is telling us it matters. In this lesson, we have a purpose to bring peace to every mind, to generate that light that encompasses everything and sweetly touches all the other aspects of ourselves in these forms, sweetly touches them and holds them in a grace, in grace. And hopefully it reaches them, but it's really not up to this form for it, it will reach because the power is there. Even if they don't know it, even if I don't know it. So that was really powerful for me this morning, that this is a holy mission. And then I also, it said in the blue book, accept no trivial purpose or meaningless desires in its place. So that sounds really serious, but it's really lighter than that because it's joyful. It's a joyful mission. It's not like before I knew better. I have to do this. I have a struggle ahead of me. I have something I have to accomplish. It's like a light, joyful mission of beauty and grace. And all I have to do is let it spill off of me as I walk around through the world. Just like let it spill out, let it overflow. And I can see all these beautiful beings and beautiful nature. And yes, it is freedom. It's freedom from striving. And I got to do something. So that's what I have this morning. When you access the universal frequency, you shine light. You become light. And you're walking on holy ground. It all becomes holy ground. No matter what it is. I was at a volleyball game with little girls yesterday. That was holy ground. Looking at each of them sparkle as they, played their game and thinking their game was so important. And watching them, just be life in their cute little bodies, jumping up and smacking a ball. But all of it is just so precious. And I'm very aware, maybe it's because I'm turning another year on the clock. I know it's a seemingly clock and there is no time, but anyway, I am going to be another year. And I'm very aware of the shortness of life, how quick it is and how precious these moments are. And so, yeah, this is a noble mission. Thank you, Amy, dear sweet Amy.
Thank you.
Something happens to your voice when you're reading this and when you're doing this. I don't know if you realize it, but we go right to the upper room. And it's just, I like it there.
I do too. It's a funny thing. I I distinctly remember when I read that forgiveness was my function. And for some reason, I spent so much of my life thinking, what do I do? What should I be? What can my greatest contribution be? What kind of job should I have that will make a difference in the world? Um, and when I read this and really took it into my heart, it was such a balm for me to be given, as you said, Sandra, such a noble function. And it felt to me like it was such a direct directive. This is your function. It is to understand forgiveness and to be it and practice it every day for the rest of your life. That's your job. And just accepting that in the instant that I did was so comforting for me that I knew it was right. I knew that was and everything the world would say, that's ridiculous. You know, you could do better than, how will you pay your bills? You know, Alice, welcome this morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I'm really happy to be here. It's wonderful for these reflections. And I'll just share like the word determined when you're reading the 50 lessons, the word determined kind of stood out for me. And it was in a very pleasant, wonderful way, was like I recalled when I felt that determination arise in me, where I was shifted from the opposite of that, like floating or um, to being determined that I was going to be free and that I could see things differently. And it was, it made me think like, what is that? But it's just a shift, that shift, what we call it, or I call it, um, within me that was like, I'm going to like become a seeker. And that I define differently now, but I so what that impetus, that power, the power arises, awakens, I guess is a good word. And how that felt before and after. It was a good thing. And about I read a summary of Course in Miracles one time called Love Star. Um, and I was struck back by I can't be harmed. I cannot be harmed, because I was like, you know, what the heck is that? And I worked on that. I still work on that one when I feel like offended or, you know, attacked by somebody else. But anyway, it was like my vulnerability and am my harm. I'm unharmable is a, um, um, uh, and I think the whole, I have little jots here, but we have a consciousness problem is like, I want to scream from the rooftops, when we um muddle. And I know I too, like David Hawkins is like, get on the other side of courage, like we're wading in the pools of, shame and blame and guilt and anger and all that. So it is a consciousness problem, and not the world problems. And if that is what we're here to do, is to raise the consciousness, um, and bring peace to other minds. Um, and on, the forgiveness thing, I don't know, continue to work years and years and years on that one. but it's like the nothing wrong really happened is like when I really get on the other side of forgiveness, when you realize it was, when I can get to that point, like it was like all good, as we say, or was happening for a reason, or for my benefit. So I could see something with some more clarity. And so there is much richness in this your words today, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. This is such a lesson in many ways, as you really spoke to, Alice, about taking your power back. Richard, good morning.
Morning, everyone. Love us all. A great lesson. I've been doing the lessons for a number of years now, and started on 1 January with the first lesson, and the 31 December with the 365. So one year I was doing this a few years ago, this lesson, and what came to my mind was a phrase that I use every day in my morning routine. And that was, I am the light of the world. The light of the world has come to every mind because I have forgiven the world. And when that first popped into my mind, I had to think, what does it mean to forgive the world? And what came to mind over a number of months was a refinement of non-judgmental awareness. Whatever is happening exactly as it is, and should be. And don't judge it. Just accept it. And that was hard at first to deal with because my mind was still judging things as good and bad or right or wrong or whatever. So I had to go back into the basics of the course and realize that the course says there's only two experiences, love and fear. And that further that if you're perceiving love, join with it. If you're perceiving fear, it's a call for love. So that helped me further refine my understanding of the lesson by how do I forgive the world by not judging it, and then I can see the divine in everything without judging it. So even war, for example, can be an opportunity to extend the light and the love that I am on both sides. Who is a war is a reflection of peace, of not peace, but fear. So it really has helped me. And as I've shared before, every day, and I love these meetings we have because they help me to refine every day my experience within the dream. Because I'm everything now. And so I'm in it and identifying it. I'm the dreamer and the dream, the character in the dream. I'm embracing all of it. And how do I do that? I want to raise my consciousness, as Alice said, and the guys were saying yesterday, and be in the upper room all the time. I need to practice what I preach. So I need to focus on being at level 600 on the Hawkins scale, above that, which is peace, which includes love, peace, and joy. And I need to focus on the larger issues, not poor Richard issues, but what is the sonship? How do we get to the real world? How do we help our brothers and our sisters raise their frequency? If I don't do it myself, I'm not willing to do the work. How can I expect anyone else in the dream to do the work? So,
Mm.
I love it. Love us all, and thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. Hmm. Thank you, Richard. Cindy, good morning.
Good morning. Number one, I did, Amy and I had a conversation yesterday, and then I went ahead and I created just a little 4-minute snippet from that guide's process of pulling something from the past up and basically forgiving it. So anytime we want to listen to it together, even, if we have 4 minutes at the end of this, I could set that up. So that's the first thing I wanted to say.
Mm.
Because it is a forgiveness practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of the deepest level.
Yeah.
The second thing is I was listening to Sandra this morning. I listened to Muji. Sandra's facilitating that conversation on Thursday. And the very first thing Muji said was, don't let the mind convince you that you're going to get this later. And I got chills when I just said that. So it just, like, he literally said it's only ever now. And it's interesting, as I was listening to all the conversations about doing these lessons over and over and over again and meeting them new each time. And Sandra was talking about the paradox of that occurring and still knowing the truth all at once. I've been watching very consciously, especially since this morning, which is only, a number of hours ago, how often my mind wants to save something for later. I'm going to dive deep into this later. And so, in case you were wondering, I know who you are now, which is extraordinary. The third is I want to read, there's some words from Joel Goldsmith that I sat with this morning. And even though I had read it, because, there are a few of us that are just reading 3 pages a week. And this, for some reason, this particular week, I've been hanging with these 3 pages a couple of times a day. And, I've already read different aspects of these. And it's a small book too. So 3 pages isn't a lot of words.
What's the name of the book, Cindy?
Oh, The Infinite Way.
Yeah.
It's Joel Goldsmith's. He said this is every other book Joel Goldsmith has ever written. He said it's like you take a paragraph from The Infinite Way and every other book is based on that one paragraph. It's, I've heard him say that more than once. But as I was listening, like these words that I'm about to read, I got stuck in them for a while this morning and then took them into my diet, and I've been walking around with them. And as I was listening to you, Amy, I was sitting in this. And so I kind of want to read it out loud for me. And I'm ready, Sandra. I'm getting a lot of chills right now, even as I get ready to do this. So here's what it says. I'm ready to say, you ready, August? You paying attention? We are yet to become aware of the fact that we embrace our world within ourselves, that all that exists as persons, places, and things lives only within our own consciousness. We could never become aware of anything outside of the realm of our own mind. And I've been watching something inside that's continually attempting to pull me out of that and then coming back in, and in the context of this conversation, reminding me over and over and over and over again that forgive the languaging, but all of you are just congealed aspects of energy in my mind. if that makes sense. Like the moment I say, I wish I could communicate this to you, from a Course in Miracles standpoint, I'm projecting outside of myself so that I don't have to look at it where the only place it exists. So August is just a ball of dancing energy within my mind. So at any given moment, if I think I want to share something with August, I have to be aware of the fact that I am holding a space within my mind that I can hold in light and dissolve, which is to me forgiveness. If I got off the phone with my mother yesterday, and man, did I feel abandoned. Like, man, doesn't she ever want to know? Like, this is exactly what I got off the phone, and the first thought was, man, don't dissolve me. Never, never, never. It's just gonna allow you to dance more, so you can even dance to techno. Um, I got off the phone like with my mother yesterday, and the feeling of not being seen was intense in my space. Like, is that woman ever going to ask me how my day went? It's not personal, but the recognition that the feeling of not being seen can only ever exist in my mind, in my consciousness, is what I'm sitting with right now. And so holding that feeling of not being seen in the light of the Holy Spirit or the divine or truth, whatever, and allowing it to fully express and dissolve is just what I'm sitting with right now. But I don't know, these words are everything. It's just bringing it all back into the fact that there's only one mind. So that's
Thank you for that.
what's here to add to this conversation.
Thank you for that. I want to just, something that you said in the beginning really struck me, and I'm moved to share it. You said, and you were quoting Muji, you're only going to get this now, right? You're not going to get it later. And that is a very powerful statement. It's a real motivation to be present and to recognize your own determination and to accept your own determination. But the egoic mind will also take that and say, oh, you're never going to get it. Because perhaps when the idea comes to you, whatever the idea is that you only can get now, you're just not ready for it. And the egoic mind will take that and say, you should blame yourself for that. Right? Which is, so I'm going to bring this back to forgiveness, because you can say to yourself just as truly, I know that this is true. I know that my function is forgiveness, but I can't friggin' forgive right now. And so I'm going to forgive myself for not being able to forgive. And that's really important. You know, it's so critical that we give ourselves the freedom to not forgive. That doesn't mean that we go load our gun, or we walk out and say, I'm never coming back. But we give ourselves the freedom in the moment to be unable to let go of whatever it is that's arising for us that doesn't feel like it can be forgiven. Because if you don't do that, you will push it down. You'll move it into the shadow. And so all of this, the light of our own being includes that which doesn't feel forgiving in the moment. right? And that's why forgiveness is freedom. And so I forgive myself for not being able to forgive in the moment, and I will pick it up later. Maybe it will be in a minute, maybe it will be in a day. I know that I can forgive because I am, as Alice said, determined to see things differently. But right now I can't, and I forgive myself for that. Right? So I just want to put that out there, notwithstanding the power of determination. Patricia, welcome this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I was thinking about what you were saying, Amy, and realizing in my own experience that I can be angry and not willing to forgive. But as soon as I sit with that and I sit with I'm not forgiving, I'm just angry, blah, 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 blah. I go into blame, I go into assessment, psychological analysis. I go into all this thinking crap. And as soon as I realize that, I don't care if I'm not ready to forgive. As soon as I'm aware, that dissipates, it turns into something else. And in turning into something else, it's closer to forgiveness. So it's almost like there's stages that I go through. And in that process, I am forgiving.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It is that's why I call forgiveness the key code, because it unlocks the flow. So yes, it's moving through the emotional cycle, as Rana says. Absolutely. Absolutely. August, and then Sandra.
I don't know why this stream of thought just happened or whatever it was. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. And I was like, what is forgiveness? Like, what is that fundamentally? Like, what is that? Like, what are we actually doing if we're not doing anything? And there's no doer and there's no chooser and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that just allowance?
Yes.
Is that just surrender then? Is that
Yes.
just all that's happening?
Yes.
Just happened right now.
Bingo. Yeah. I mean, that's I used to talk to Bill Free about that, and forgiveness and allowing they're synonyms. Right. Yep. Thank you.
Can I quote you, Amy?
Yes. Whoever.
Okay.
Yes.
Miracles are an interlocking chain of forgiveness. Can also be said as acceptance, non-resistance, which, when completed, is the atonement, unity, awareness, oneness, truth. This process works all the time and in all dimensions of time.
Thank you. There you go, May. May, can you tell us where you found that so that we can, if August wants to mark it in his copy, you can, even though he didn't bring it with him.
I think it was your podcast with Bill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can look it up. We can look it up. Forgiveness is an interlocking chain of, would you repeat that?
Yeah. Miracles are an interlocking chain of forgiveness,
Mhm.
acceptance, non-resistance, which, when completed, is the atonement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I also wrote that darkness exists, but it is also an illusion, a matter of re-seeing darkness with the eyes of source, truth, that will facilitate its undoing. The world is a collective effect of prior choice and agreement.
It's beautiful. That's, thank you very much. Sandra, did you have, August, are you complete?
More is happening as this is happening, but I guess I was just okay. So, like, could we now? So, forgiveness is allowance, is surrender, which is all that's actually happening. So, it's just aligning more and more to the true self. Like, that's just all that is.
That's a major component of it. And yeah, it's a major component of it. It's going with the flow. Forgiveness
And
is multidimensional though, and I would say that you've got most of it, but there's an element in what May said that is even deeper.
It's almost like an equation for like something exponential, because this interlocking chain, it does feel like when you follow the path, you are like the pointer fingers kind of just start showing you where to go. And it's like like God source will tell you when you are on the right path. And it is like it is this wrestling and this like kind of there is a little bit of a tussle, but like when you realize that the tussle is just like something that you've created in your own head, you shine the light back on it, you become more porous again, and you're just like, okay, what do I need to ingest next?
I love it. Thank you so much, May. We're 3 minutes over time. I want to invite Josephine, and I want to just thank you, May and August, and everyone who's shared. And Josephine, welcome to the table, and then we'll close out with your comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Very briefly, my readings on radical forgiveness, and I believe that teaching was that radical forgiveness means that what you think happened, the grievance that you would have, really never did happen. So there is nothing to forgive. And that may meld together with the idea that I really don't understand what anything means. So any thought that I would have a grievance would be eradicated if I thought that never really happened, and that would be a radical forgiveness. And I should be grateful that what I think is happening is really for my own self education or for my own understanding that it is I who must forgive myself.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I got it.
Cindy.
I could give you where the quote comes from.
Okay.
It comes from the 50 Miracle Principles of A Course in Miracles by Ken Wapnick, and it's Principle 25. Looks like May got the quote. I'll just read it. Miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when completed, is the atonement. Atonement works all the time and in all the dimensions of time. I think May got it exactly word for word, but it comes from Ken Wapnick's The 50 Miracle Principles. Yeah. And I have that book, so I could go read it. So there's your reference.
An interlocking chain that is multidimensional and timeless. That's why one thing that we do has repercussions throughout the universe.
It feels like an infinitely hopeful sentiment. Like it's just like
Totally.
it's just like it's just pure happiness.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you for that. What a great way to end. All right, so we're going to meet again at noon. We're going to
Yeah,
do.
rumor has it you're going to help facilitate that.
I'm going to take over when Livy has to go have her apartment fumigated because she was so kind to her kitties that brought unwanted guests with them.
All right, let me stop the recording. Here we go.